Hello, everybody. Welcome to Strategize Your Business Online. This is the live designed for entrepreneurs like yourself who are looking for a dose of business inspo and ways to leverage the online space. My name is Boswell-Buck, and I am the founder and digital marketing strategist behind Boswell-Buck Creative Consulting. And what we do is we connect you to your dream clients in the online space with strategy. So, welcome so much for coming to this live. And this live is on LinkedIn, as always. And in the last few weeks, we have been going live on Facebook. And, the company is growing. We are going to start adding these lives. We're going to be uploading them to YouTube because I'm all about repurposing. Now, this is a very hot topic. We have been doing Strategize Your Business Online since the end of May. And today's topic is about AI. I'm going to introduce my guest in a little bit. And just some housekeeping here. If you're watching this live, thank you very much. And whatever platform you are watching it on, please let us know. So we are going to see your name. Let us know your name, the name of your business, how it is that you help your dream clients, and where else can we find you? So if you are watching this on LinkedIn, and I see that Balaji is watching it. Hello, Balaji, how are you today? So if you are watching it on LinkedIn, then let us know where else we can find you. If you're watching it on Facebook, let us know where we could find you, and same with on YouTube. So I'm going to introduce my lovely guest right now. Using AI in small business marketing to build thought leadership and drive revenue is what this topic is about. And now to introduce my guest, Susan Diaz. Susan Diaz and CEO of Toronto content marketing firm C plus P Digital, and the author of Unboring, Take Your Content Marketing from Blah to Brilliant. She is pioneering the category of AI agencies focused on showcasing the potential of AI in supercharging productivity and efficiency for founder led brands. Susan co hosts two podcasts: The 4 a.m. Report on what keeps marketers and founders up at night, and ABCDEI, conversations around unlearning bias, one alphabet at a time. She's also a mom to a tween girl and a Beagle boy who keeps her busy. Susan, welcome to Strategize Your Business Online. How are you today?
I am awesome, Dee. Thank you for having me. I cannot wait to chat.
Thank you so much for being here. This is, we're talking about AI, and before we got on the call, I was mentioning that there is like such a lot of hype for this show. It's a hot topic. We have quite a few people on Facebook who said that they are interested or they are coming. And then we have like tons of people on LinkedIn who said that they will be attending as well. And Susan, I don't think I've ever gotten this before. So I'm going to give a shout out to my friend Dana. I received an email 5 minutes before, and she was like, "Oh my goodness, I am so sorry. I am not able to make it." So it's like people just want to be here.
I love it. Thank you. This is awesome. I think it's the topic in particular, but definitely you and I have a role, girl. We definitely have a role.
Obviously, yeah. So I'm going to say
Yeah.
hello to Roz really quick. Hello, Roz. Nice to meet you. I just met her a couple of weeks ago. So, Susan, if we can start, because I always love to learn about my guests. So, tell me
Mhm.
a bit about you and what is it that you do?
Um, okay, a bit about me. Let's talk about the work me, and then I'll tell you a little bit about the associated stuff as well. So the work me is I call it like a career-long marketer. I've done this in different forms from the time I started as a copywriter, advertising, PR, corporate communications. And then since the birth of my tween daughter, for 12 years or so, entrepreneurship. And again, sort of staying in the space of marketing, starting with writing, moving into other formats of creation of content. So that's the work side of me. On the personal front, I'm a bit of an adventurer. My parents moved around a lot when we were kids. I left my home, which was in India, and moved to Tanzania when I was 7 years old. And then I suppose was bitten by the bug of adventure and travel. So I've moved around a lot. And then eventually my husband and I made Canada our home. So I think all of this together has been a big part of like shaping who I am. And in my journey as an entrepreneur, even though I've stayed in the marketing space, I pride myself on being like, what's next? And how do we keep it in a way that's like, it's not just fulfilling me and pays my bills, but it sort of stays relevant to the folks I hope to work with. It stays at the cutting edge of innovation and that kind of thing.
Nice. So have you always been an entrepreneur?
No. Growing up in India, I don't even think that was like a path that was open to you. So I did work in multiple sort of shall I say, I worked in agencies first, like ad agencies, and then I moved on to like a corporate communications role. Then I worked for the government of Dubai. And then, a lot of like roles in which it was pretty formal, structured, 9 to 5.
Oh, okay. Now, we are talking about AI today, and well, maybe you can talk to me, tell me this, because January came along, January 2023, and I think that's when I heard about AI consistently. So I've always heard about a little trickle here and there in the years past. And then all of a sudden, it was just about every single day. And it was always something new. And it was something new and exciting. There was also a lot of fear. So I think it seemed like there was quite a bit of fear when it started. And now people are like, I'm not too sure if this is something that I can embrace. So what made you decide to like really jump in and learn more about AI?
Yeah, I think I've always been interested, like I said, in a little bit of I wouldn't say necessarily the tech of it, but just trying to see what's next. Like, way back when the internet like became a big deal for everyone, and I was done with university, or I was in university at the time. I was like in chat rooms and keeping in touch with my friends across the world back then. And I think I've carried that spirit of like, how do we use technology to make our lives better in many ways that I've worked. So I'd say, while the thing that changed which brought artificial intelligence to the consciousness of everyone in maybe roughly January of 2023 was OpenAI, and the fact that they created Chat GPT. And it was such a big phenomenon. And the reason it's a phenomenon is because it created it in a way that was so easy for us to use. So the user experience was really simple. It was free. And it creates these like vast amounts of like credible content, right? And so everyone sat up and took notice. And I will tell you, like in November of 2022, when they first launched, I was not buying it. I was not one of those people who was like, I'm jumping on it on the first weekend and whatever. But a couple of weeks into it, some friends of mine texted me and said, hey, are you on this thing? It seems promising and you really should check it out because, of what you do kind of thing. And I was like, sure, I'll do it. And then that's when I looked into it. And I realized that they brought something to the game that was like, supercharged, right? They really brought it to the consciousness of the masses. That said, even before that, as early as I would say 2017 and 2018, there have been tools on the market which help you like take a blog post and turn it into a video. There was a tool called Lumen 5, I think.
Right.
And there've been tools which can take like your podcast and generate like a transcript for you. And this is all machine learning or artificial intelligence of one type or another, right? So as people who produced content at scale for multiple folks, we've definitely played around a little bit with various tools. But like I said, when Chat GPT came in, that's when you realize that it was no longer only the pros who can have this. It was no longer optional. It almost became like table stakes, in my opinion.
Right. Now, the way you're speaking of it, it's like beneficial, it can improve things. My question to you
Yeah.
is it something that we should fear?
That's a complicated question, and I have some thoughts, but I don't think anyone has an absolute answer to that. Should we fear it? Not right now. I don't think so. I think we should lean into it, learn what it is. But a healthy dose of fear in all things, in my opinion, is a good thing. And I'll tell you why I'm saying that. It's because as we're sitting here and talking about it at the end of November in 2023, a year after like this big tool called Chat GPT was born, we have to remind ourselves that Chat GPT and OpenAI itself was created as a non-profit firm. It was created to advance artificial intelligence for the good of mankind and to sort of bring it forward so that we can all benefit from it. Now, over the last couple of weeks or so, we've seen the founder and the CEO of the firm being fired by the board and then, rehired in under a week. And then the board is half fired. The only two women on the board are now gone. The people who replaced those roles that are available are, without going into the politics of all of it, relatively questionable sources of like technology, their history itself. Like one of them is ex-Twitter back in the Trump election days. And one of them is sort of known for his role in multiple financial issues. So all of this makes people think about, this all seems suspicious. This all seems uncomfortable. And it's fair. I think we should ask questions. True democracy and true sort of public input into things like AI, which are going to literally change the way we live and work and study, is a good thing. I think a certain amount of regulation is a good thing. So all of that said and that backdrop painted, should we all as individual business owners be refusing to use this right now and saying, hey, it's going to make my life easier, but I'm not going to use it because it's, it could affect something in the future? I really don't think you should do that. I think you should jump in, start using it. And only when people use it at scale will we start like finding out ways to improve it.
Right. Great answer. Thank you. And when you think about it, I mean, there's been, outside of AI, there's been so many different inventions out there. And I think maybe this question comes out every time something is invented, right? Or like the little things yes, you go to the grocery store and now there's like the self-checkout everywhere, right? So there's always something that is implemented to make things easier. So I guess we could always ask that question, if it should be something that we fear, or how is it that we can actually like leverage this thing that has come in. And today, or November 22, and I said January 2023, but November 22, 2022, it was AI for everybody, the mass.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think so. I think that is the way it is. And we always also seek these absolute answers all at once, which is unlikely to happen. I think like people have different metaphors for it. One that I've deeply like benefited from and I use a lot is, it's kind of like when refrigeration came about, right? I mean, let's say, what was it? It was in the 1820s or 1830s when people created refrigeration, and it was created specifically to keep medication cold, like life-saving drugs. And maybe for close to 100 years, that's the way it stayed. Like that was the primary use. And then in the early 1900s, people came about and they were like, I wonder what else we could do with the ability to keep something cold. Perhaps this means we can move around perishable items like food. And from there came the birth of the modern sort of grocery chain, right? And now in the depth of winter in Canada, we can get like strawberries because of the ability to keep like California strawberries or whatever cold. So that sort of analogy, I think, is really, it stands out for me. Because I think that's what we should be doing with AI. Instead of trying to find a better tool, I think we should be finding deeper uses for artificial intelligence. I think we should start to look at problems, whether they're problems in our business, in our communities, in our personal life, and try to see if like having some level of quantum computing is going to help us, right? Because guess what, we have it. Like, another analogy is calculators. When we had calculators, I think people struggled to decide whether or not you should be using them in like math tests or school or whatever. And right now we don't think about it twice, dude. Like, we have this at the end of our hands at all times, and it seems like a lot of angst over nothing. But I think that is a good thing. Like, if we just didn't have any caution and we threw all caution to the wind and we leapt forward into everything, I suppose is not a great thing, right? So it's awesome that people ask questions, but I also think it's important to sort of stay in our realm, and be like, I can't fix all of the problems of the world. I can't take absolute black and white sort of stances on everything. And right now I have immense power, like calculators, like refrigeration, like electricity, like the internet, and it's come about in my space, right? In my life, in my lifetime. And so own it. Why not?
Right. Great question. Great answer. Thank you so much. Now, when businesses approach you, entrepreneurs, business owners, like I have here that you talked about supercharging productivity and efficiency, and that's what you do, and that sounds amazing. When they come to you, are they approaching you because they are like, oh, I really want to lean into AI, and I feel that I'm struggling in my business? Like, what are some of the questions or the struggles that they're going through? And how is it that they feel that you can help them when it comes to AI in their business?
Yeah, so the AI specific piece that I'm offering to more and more people is much more recent, as you said, like pretty much like the last like 8 to 10 months. What instead has been the sort of problem space, it's more like I bring it up to them and say, have you considered AI to help you solve this problem? What they come to me presenting with is lack of time to do things in their marketing, lack of consistency in being able to regularly go out there, and like say the things that you believe, sometimes lack of budget, because they're like, I'm not able to, I know I should be doing this for marketing, Susan, but I just don't have the budget to consistently do it. And so a lot of these things are valid. Like, you and I, we both run small businesses, and we understand the struggle is real. Like, there's always like shortcomings that we're trying to like fix, right? So with the introduction of artificial intelligence, I think it's like you can suddenly, it's like putting in a force multiplier, if you will. Like, suddenly you have the ability to take away tasks that took you hours and hours in the past, so that as perhaps the founder or the leader in the business, you're suddenly able to apply yourself to the higher things. So one example that comes to mind is too often I hear from people that I really know I should be like publishing more, like I should write articles or emails or newsletters or blog posts or whatever. In my opinion, it should be all of those things, right? I mean, the same piece should be all of those things at different times, but we'll get into that at a different time. But people don't have a consistent, let's say, publishing program where you're creating thought leadership writing. Why don't they have thought leadership writing? Because that kind of writing takes you, I don't know, 6, 8, 10 hours to write one really good piece, right? And it's fair. Like, I mean, maybe you don't have those 6 hours or 8 hours a month to turn out one a month, right? Now, with artificial intelligence, and if you input the factors, not just go tell it, please write me a thought leadership article on marketing for 800 words, you're going to get absolute drivel. It's not going to be good at all. But if you if you give it some clear guidelines and say, could you help me author a piece that has to do with the lack of time to write about thought leadership? In it, please include the following points, and then you detail some of your sort of domain expertise and your knowledge. And then you ask AI to do a piece for you. It will turn out something which is about, 40 to 50% of the way. So you're never again having to stare at a blank page. And when you get something to 40 to 50%, and if we go back to our original timings there, we're like, okay, it took you 8 hours. You suddenly have something which is 50% of the way there. That same task, it can be argued, will now only take you 4 hours, right? And so how many more of us are likely to embrace it? And that's just the beginning. So much more improvement that can be had. Like, as someone who's in marketing, who's been incorporating this kind of thing more and more, and even before something like Chat GPT came along, there were tools like copy.ai and jasper.ai and
Right.
Otter, which, those kind of tools, they were
Yeah.
already saving marketers like a few hours at a time. And so now I think it's almost like it's a responsibility. It's a given, or back to that same word, it's like table stakes as far as I'm concerned for everyone.
Right, right. And I mean, for myself, so I have a social media coordinator. Her name is Denise, and every once in a while we chat about, you know, implementing a artificial intelligence so that we can become even more efficient. And
Mm-hmm.
especially like now that we are doing these lives on LinkedIn, and now they are going out to Facebook as well. And I see that Christiana is on here from Facebook. Hello, Christiana. Nice to see you. So I'm about like, how is it that we can repurpose our content without manually having to go in there and get the job done? So I can't remember the I can't remember. Maybe you would know what it is, but we take the video and then we upload
Yeah.
it, and then it chops it up into like different seconds. Could be 30 seconds, it could be 90 seconds. 90 seconds, which is great if we're going to do it as an Instagram reel, or a certain amount of seconds, and we can add this content here, like later on this live, we want to take this video and then repurpose it and add the captions across it. So I
Mm-hmm.
mean, the doing that, it allows us to have our lives live longer. And also, I always think about it like my guests, like you, Susan. I always think about like what is in it for my guests. Like I want to have these awesome guests on the program, and I also want my guests to feel and know that they are being seen as well. So we are using AI so that we are able to get that content and also share it out to different platforms in different formats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's one of the best use cases for AI, honestly, is when you have an existing piece, like a larger anchor piece, as we like to call it, which has been created by yourselves, right? Like in this case, you and I were having a conversation. This is a co-created piece of content. And this is perfect because feeding information like this into artificial intelligence is likely to give you much better content results than just starting from scratch, because now we've already got like we have a perspective, we have a topic umbrella, we have like point 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever that we're talking about under that content umbrella. So that strategic approach to creating content that's already gone into the production of a show, like a live or a podcast or a virtual event or even an in real life event, that's an excellent place to start from start from with generative AI. So one thing is what you mentioned there, which is the ability to cut it into smaller clips. One tool that you can use to do that is Opus dot
Yes, that's the
Pro,
one.
I think.
Can't remember it. Yeah.
Opus
Thank
Clip
you.
is the name of the thing. It's a really great low cost tool. You do have a free version, but it has like, a watermark, but the paid version is like $20 a month. So if you are regularly doing lives like this, it's totally worthwhile. So that's one. There are a few others as well. The next step is that I would definitely upload the full sort of like video into some sort of tool that gives you a transcript.
Yes.
That could be one good one is otter.ai, otter like the animal, TTER. And they have like an excellent transcript. And one of the reasons I like them over others, there are a number of others. There's Rev and there's many. Even Zoom, I think, is now giving you like a transcript. But the reason I like Otter is because it has a wider sort of recognition of speech patterns. So regardless of the accent and regardless of like some of the diction details, it gives you a pretty solid transcript, right? And so I would take a transcript like that. And that's the beginning of a lot of writing, D. Like that can become multiple articles, like what we're talking about right now can become multiple articles. It can become like smaller, like social media posts. And this is your zone of genius, like smaller social media posts that you can just sort of like cut up and use to drive people back. Because a live like this it's really only the appointment to create the content between you and I. The longevity of this information continues, but far too many people sort of let it die, right? And so using it, right? And so like being able to go back and pull it up.
It hurts me, sorry.
And what? It does. That's how repurposing works. Repurposing doesn't mean taking the same link and posting it again. That's distribution. Repurposing is giving the thing multiple forms and multiple sizes and multiple lengths and that kind of thing. So I think AI is really good at that. Is it going to do it perfectly? Whether it's Opus Clip or Chat GPT with your transcript, is it going to give you something which is like, I'm just going to directly post it out onto LinkedIn because it'll be perfect? No, it's not. But it's going to avoid you having to do it over and over again. And back to those timings. Like I remember in the past, we have 205 maybe episodes of our podcast. And we started in 2018. In 2018, the time that it took us and the number of team members that it took us to take one podcast and turn it into a few videos, 4 or 5 social posts, a blog post, and the actual podcast, that was like maybe 2 days. It took 2 days and multiple team members to do that. Right now, this can be done in 2 hours.
Right. Now, you touched on a question that I'm still going to ask, where you talked about like whether or not people do things right. And earlier, you mentioned that, you're not going to just put some questions into Chat GPT as an example, and then it spits it out. My question to you is that, do you think some people are doing this? And if you have seen it, like, are you able to say, man, that person just took the words and just put them up on social media or up on the blog? Like, are you able to detect that? And do you think like pretty much the average person can detect that? And like maybe there's a lack of feeling in what has been shared online?
Not fully, I don't think so. And the reason for that is not because the machines are that good, it's because people are that bad. Like I think a lot of the time that even when we're not using machines, we sound robotic. I think we come off sounding like inadequate and stuff like that. So can we immediately detect? Like I've seen a lot of people say, oh, that person's now using ChatGPT. I question whether we can actually figure that out. To me, it points to a bigger problem than whether it's human or machine. I think it points to your content's not great. Whether the machine's doing it or the humans are doing it, the content is not great. That said, I think I preach with caution that when you're using something like, generative AI in the form of like Chat GPT or cloud or any one of those other tools, you do need human oversight. You do need the back and forth. And instead of saying, is it a machine or is it a human that we want in the future? I think like you need to like put it together and be like, it has to be some sort of hybrid model. Humans alone don't need to be starting from zero as we're chatting, and machines cannot take it to 100. So that means you do have to bring them together.
Right. Thank you. Great answer. There's so many great answers. Now, Susan, can you tell me about, you have a micro masterclass on how to prompt Chat GPT. Can you share a bit about this?
Yeah, so that is like, one of the things that like is a very common thing that people say to me is like, oh, I wish I could write more like thought leadership, or I wish I could write more blog posts, or I wish I could like submit more articles to like a top shelf publication or whatever. You definitely can use something like Chat GPT to help you. And what I've done is like a 25-minute recording, which is like literally a tutorial, where I'm walking you through the framework to use, because the tool is only garbage in, garbage out. It's as good as you are, right? You have to be able to prompt a machine and tell it what you want from it. And so in this 25-minute masterclass, I walk people through how to prompt it, like how to take some thoughts out of your head and put it into a machine, so that it's going to come back with a blog post that sounds a bit more like you and a bit less like, just words.
Okay, thank you. We're going to be sharing that like on the platforms that we're on. And as I said, we are going to put it up on YouTube and make sure that we share that link as well. And I just want to go back really quick. I did say, I keep on saying great answer. You know what, Susan? I think I say that because, there's so much questions about artificial intelligence. And for me, I don't really look at it so much as fearful. Like I do look at it as okay, how can we leverage this? And like you said, I think sometimes there is a bit of fear, like overall, but that's just being more mindful about the different tools that are out there. I think I love the way how you answer it, where it's your answers pretty much go into how is it going to hurt us if we just lean into it? How is it going to hurt us to lean into it and leverage it? And there's just so much negativity out there, or there's a lot of questions out there. So I like when I think about people who come to me with and I don't mean clients, but when I think about maybe in-laws or something like that, people who come to me with problems. And they always have, not to say that my in-laws always have problems, but some people always have a problem.
It's the holidays.
I know. I love you. Often people have problems, but they don't have suggestions, or they have problems and they don't lean into how can I figure this out or look for the answers. So I just welcome a lot of the answers that you're saying. That was what I wanted to say.
I think so. I think, you know what, this particular time in history is one that I'm quite glad to be in. I'm really glad that I'm able to raise my child, who's now 12, in a world where, like, there's so much opportunity. I truly say often that there's going to be more millionaires made in 2024 from artificial intelligence than ever before. Like, think back to like the .com heydays and the internet awesomeness.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a lot of good and bad that comes with it. The main thing that I think as a message to like small businesses in particular that I have is this. It's like we have agility and resilience, and we can move really fast, and we can take losses well, right? Because we're small and good at what we do. So I think we should lean into this AI thing before every big company and its dog have adopted all of it, and then we lose our competitive advantage, right? So right now, I think this bit, from 2023 going into maybe like the end of 2024 presents a unique opportunity for a lot of small businesses because you're in the right place, the right time, and you're able to make moves quickly and smartly. And that's worth taking advantage of. We're also simultaneously staring like a recession in the face. And so many
Mm-hmm.
businesses are struggling, whether with revenue or with client retention or whatever those things are. And so all is never lost, right? I mean, in a recession, if we have something as powerful of art as artificial intelligence available to us, to me, it's like, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you check it out?
Right, for sure. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to ask you a question that I ask everyone because I do digital marketing. And so I always have to like tie in every episode. So as I ask this question, everybody who is watching right now, again, I'll ask you, feel free to put in the
Yeah.
chat the name of your business. We would love to check you out, where else we can find you, whether it's your website or on social media. And Susan, my question to you is, which social media platforms do you focus on for your business and why?
Oh, I think it's LinkedIn. I'll tell you why. It's not because I love it or it's the best platform or that I have humongous quantities of followers on there. I still have a really micro audience. It's like I think I'm in like 2.5 or 3,000 folks on there. But the reason I focus there is because I see um a lot of like actual leads come out of it. Like a lot of my business is either through referrals or because I met someone on LinkedIn who invited me to an event, who then invited me to this is the house that Jack built kind of thing, right? So
Yeah.
there's a lot of that. And then the other part is because the other social media networks keep imploding, yo. Like Facebook, I left in 2020 because of all the just rubbish that was happening on there at the time of George Floyd. Um, Left Twitter because I was never interested in it. And then the Elon drama meant that I was out of there.
Yeah.
Instagram, I stick around because it fuels my artistic, like personal sort of side while also being a business tool. So yeah, LinkedIn seems like the only option left. So there you go.
Right. Okay. Thank you. And when it comes to content, what type of content do you like to create?
Um, Ooh, that's a difficult one. It's like asking to
Ooh,
pick
really?
my favorite child. I'm a podcast producer. I've had more successes on video than anything else. And my actual heritage is writing. So this is a hard question. I would say, what do I find really easy is this. I find video and audio content production to be my favorite and easiest. That said, I think my sort of like my writing skills are above average, and often if I really want to clarify a point and strengthen it, I will
Mhm.
resort to writing. And that's why my email list has been the source of a lot of business over the years, I suspect.
Awesome. Yeah, I went through your some of your videos before we got on, and I was like, wow, she is so amazing. And I just use when you're speaking, it's like, this is how I feel, and this is how I feel. Like it's just so
I
authentic.
know.
Love it.
I like it. Hopefully more people will find me and I don't have to be a good a well-kept secret. Let's see.
Right. Yeah, for sure. So to wrap up, I would love to know, what would you say is a top lesson that clients walk away with after working with you?
Um, I think a lot of what I hope people walk away with is like simplicity. Like, how do you make it easier, more fulfilling, less of a chore? Because too often people are either ignoring marketing or they're doing it themselves and it's like a real pain, like it's hard. So I hope to bring some simplicity to people. And I like it when we do things for clients in a way that they barely even know that it was done. I like it
Mm,
when people don't have to follow up and it just quietly runs like a smooth humming engine. You're never gonna know unless it's broken.
I love that. Like for 2023, I have a word and I'm going to carry it into 2024. And in all my years of being a business owner and before that, I hear people saying like, this is my word for the year. And I'm like, I can't commit to a word. I'm not doing that. But I couldn't do it. However, 2023, my word was ease, and everything that you just said just really like speaks to that. Because as I say to my friends, like being a business owner is not for the faint of heart, and
It's really not.
there is worry, and everything could be amazing, and then the price of like interest rates are going up or everything is amazing and then something else happens. So it's definitely like a roller coaster. So whenever I reach out to work with others or just like where's like now I do more of a deep dive into my business every so often just to see like where is it that I can continue to implement ease and then also so it can like ripple to my personal life as well. So I love your
I
answer.
love
Thank
it.
you for that. Yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Well, if
Awesome.
you can tell us again, Susan, like where is it that everybody can get a hold of your micro masterclass?
Yeah, I can drop a link in here after we're done to the actual class. Reach out to me on LinkedIn. I spend an unhealthy amount of time over there. And I'm not one of those awesome folks who have people who reply on their behalf. It's me when you hear from
Yeah.
me. Yeah, so yeah, and cp.digital is our website. But honestly, LinkedIn is where we put a lot of content out, and I will happily connect with folks if they're interested in learning more about artificial intelligence and marketing.
Awesome. And I am going to then take that link from LinkedIn. And also, we have it in our notes too. But I'm going to take that link and I'm going to add it to Facebook because it's not necessarily a place that where you hang out. And that's okay, folks, because I always tell everyone that you do not have to be everywhere. So,
Yes.
yeah, but we will, it's right on our Facebook page, D Boswell-Buck, and we'll make sure that we put that link there. And Susan, if I see any action happening there, I'll be sure to make sure that you know about it and see how it is that you can connect with anybody who is interested in learning more. So, thank you
Okay.
so much, Susan. It was really fun speaking with you. And putting a little bit of ease into my day when it comes to artificial intelligence.
I
So
love
everyone,
it. I'm here for it.
yeah,
I'm here for ease.
yeah. And everyone, thank you so much for watching. Again, let us know where you're at. This is going to be on LinkedIn, is also going to be on Facebook. And we do have somebody working on things. And I would say that by next week, you will see it on YouTube. Thank you, everybody, for being here for Strategize Your Business Online. We will definitely be back next week. So stay tuned. We'll be making an announcement with regards to who our next guest will be. So thank you very much, everyone. Have a great day.